And kia ora, everyone. Thanks to the committee for allowing me the chance to speak on this bill and the issues it presents. Um, First of all, I'd just like to make the following comments on the Treaty Principles Bill. The purpose of the bill is to clear up and, I guess, provide a readability as well as incorporating the principles of the treaty into a statute. However, this bill provides for significant constitutional challenge, and I'd like to focus my discussion on these constitutional issues. Of course, I wish to echo what I'm sure many other submissions have said, that the one-sidedness of this bill presents many, many challenges. It's a breach of...
Josh, you still with us, or is it us?
No, I think it's Josh.
I'll just pause the timer for a
The
second.
bill is...
Sorry, Josh, can you hear me now?
Sorry, yes.
You might want to rewind about 15 to 20 seconds. You just froze on us, and we kind of got you just at the end of your intro.
My apologies. My internet might be a tad unstable, but hopefully that should
No,
be
you're
fine.
okay. You're okay. I've paused the timer, so if you just want to recap probably the last 15 or 20 seconds, then go from there.
Oh, sure. Just a quick intro, really, of I'd like to focus on the constitutional challenges that this bill presents, not only sort of at its core, but in potentially the enforcement of such a statute and the challenges that would provide. I'd also like to echo what I'm sure many other submitters have said, that the one-sided nature of this bill presents a lot of challenges and potential unfairness. But I'm going to focus on the constitutional issues. The bill presents itself as something that is somewhat rare within New Zealand's framework, and that is a statute that itself can affect all other statutes. New Zealand's constitutional sort of framework sets out that all statutes are equal. We do not have any supreme law that sits above any other law as such could jeopardize parliamentary sovereignty. The similar bill in terms of scope was the Bill of Rights Act, which was heavily discussed when it was in its bill stage. My written submission points out comments by Geoffrey Palmer in his white paper on the bill, where he discusses challenges such as who would enforce the bill. The New Zealand Bill of Rights Act relies on the courts to enforce. Would this give the courts supreme power over Parliament? Would they be able to strike down statutes that do not comply with this, the Treaty Principles Bill? Of course, in doing this, it would jeopardize parliamentary sovereignty, giving the courts, who are unelected, power over the elected officials. Of course, the Bill of Rights Act implemented sections 4, 5, 6, and 7 to essentially rein in the power and say that any statute that flies in the face of the Bill of Rights Act is still legitimate, cannot be struck down. It just must be read in a certain way. The Treaty Principles Bill does not provide any such escape. It's a simplistic and blanket piece of legislation that provides many complicated challenges. It has one section for exemptions that is things already discussed under the Treaty of Waitangi Act and in the tribunal. However, this is a very small part of what the treaty does, and you can find treaty principles expressed in many, many, many statutes. Creating a higher form of law, or potentially creating a higher form of law, is very challenging and is not something that has ever been done. The Bill of Rights Act, of course, is a very complicated piece of legislation. How it interacts has been discussed immensely by members of Parliament as well as, I guess, legal scholars. Relying on the courts to decide and giving them potential power to invalidate enactments, which they might see as being contrary to the principles stated in the bill, would give too much power to the unelected courts. It also provides challenges potentially. Would it retroactively change past interpretations of earliest? Would this create potential to appeal past decisions? This is no doubt going to create significant strain on courts if many cases could potentially be overturned, many precedent could be potentially overturned. The principles laid out in the Treaty Principles Bill only cover a very small percentage of what the Crown's duties to the treaty are. There are many statutes found in New Zealand that only exist because of the Crown seeking to uphold its duties that are found in the treaty. I guess one example, you can find examples from anything from education and so on, but one example might be the Māori Television Services Act, which is part of the Crown's ongoing obligation to protect the Māori language as a tanonga or a treasure. Such a bill, how would that interact with the Act? Who would decide how that interacts with the Act? Could that be struck down by a court? These are all questions that the bill currently does not answer. My recommendation would be that the bill goes no further while these serious constitutional issues have not been addressed. There is nothing existentially wrong with wanting to define what the principles are, but such a mechanism needs to be thoroughly thought through, how it will interact with other statute and decisions of Parliament needs to be thoroughly thought through. A hastily put together bill that is simple in nature cannot fulfill this task. I would recommend to the committee that they work together to expand on research issues and deal with the constitutional challenges that such a bill would provide. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for your submission this afternoon and for jumping up in the order just to help us fill a gap here. But we're a little bit over time now, but I was conscious that you've raised a few issues that hadn't been raised previously, so I wanted to allow you to ear those out. So just on behalf of the committee, can I thank you for your time this afternoon and just acknowledge the submission you've made today.
Thank you.
How do you find that submission? Because it felt a bit jumpy all over the place, but I can understand how that could have happened, though.
Yeah, I mean, what I got from that submission is he's talking about the way in which this bill causes a lot of problems in its own legal implications, right? And I think this is one of the interesting things that's going on with bills like this, is it's actually written in a way that is politically, ideologically trying to serve a purpose, but it's not actually making any sense, both in our big constitution, as in like honouring, you know, how our constitution works, which Te Tiriti is a part of. And secondly, it's not acknowledging all of the flow-on effects that are going to come from it. So what he was saying is there's just going to be litigations galore. There's going to be court cases, there's going to be drama, it's going to cost money, it's a waste of time. And that's because this bill has not actually been done in a way that is properly taking into account how law works. It's just David Seymour wanting to rewrite the treaty. That's what it is. And so I think, that's what I took from that anyway.
Or as the saying goes, just add another more lane and the road will flow better. And next minute the lane's clogged up with more traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much basically what it would be doing.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, News Guide, The Order Paper Podcast. YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, News Guide, The Order Paper Podcast.